What's going on? What's going on? What's going on, beloved, 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 beloved? This is Chief Kalanago Flying Eagle with another video. Hope everybody's doing well. Hope you had an amazing continuation thus far and you're looking forward to a blissful sunrest. All right. I want to acknowledge the great spirit, universal intelligence. I want to acknowledge my ancestors and thank them for always guiding and protecting me. All right, I know that any weapons formed against me shall not prosper. So let's do this. All right, we got sound on Facebook. Let's get on YouTube. This potentially is going to be a short video because I may give y'all another one. All right. So this is Who Are the Moors Part 2. All right, Who Are the Moors Part 2. And once again, you know me, everything I do is for educational purposes. You know, this is never personal, but once again, you know, I just like to bring information. I always ask everybody to do their own research. Now, I did a part 1, okay, on who are the Moors, and I drop a lot of information, giving it to you from a whole different bunch of perspectives, right? But in this video right here, okay, I'm gonna go to a website that is owned by you know, Moorish Americans, okay, and let you see it for your own eye, with your own eyes, okay? So once again, this is not about hating anybody or nothing like that. This is about, we literally have to put a stamp on who we are as a people, and we have to get away from all the other misconceptions of people telling us who we are. All right, it is very, very important, and let's get into this. So I'm not even going to waste any time. I'm going to get straight into that. Okay, first of all, we have to know that the word Moor, we already know what it means, right? They have different meanings. All right, a Moor could be a North African individual. A Moor could be any dark skin or black person could be a Moor. Okay, that was used, or a blackamoor. Okay, those terms were used to reference or identify so-called black people too as well. Okay, Mooring deals with also Moor could be a plot of land. So it have a lot of different meanings. Okay, but when it comes to it as an identity, okay, that individual, again, if we go to the etymology of that word Moor, all right, and one thing I appreciate about the Moors, they appreciate etymology, okay? They are big on etymology. So the etymology. So let's start with that first, and then I'll go to the site, okay, and we'll take it from there. But like I said, this video is not going to be too long, okay? It's going to be probably less than half an hour, 40 minutes tops, okay? Because I think I may have another one for y'all. Okay, so let us go into this real quick, and I'm going to share my screen. Give me 1 second. Okay. Because it's just so crazy, man. Everybody is saying we are them and they are us, and I just don't get it. I mean, I get it, but you know, I tell our people there is a final hurdle that we have to climb, okay, and we have to go through, and this is it right here, okay. So let us look at the verb, all right. As a verb, Moor, and we have gone through that in part 1, but I'm just kind of refresh your mind a little bit, right? Moor, to fasten a ship in a particular location by or as by cables, by anchors. Okay, so as a verb, Moor, to fasten a ship in a particular location by or as by cables or anchors. All right, period. That's it right there. That's the verb. Now, the noun. Okay, let us go to the noun. A North African Berber, one of the race dwelling in Barbary, late 14th century. Okay. Roman Northwest Africa, a region now corresponding to northern Algeria and Morocco. And one thing, you know, I've been asking, you know, our Moorish brothers and sisters is, which I can't seem to quite get an answer. Okay, how is that? You know, if Moor, okay, Moors are from Africa, right? And at some point, Moor also meant a dark skin or a black person. All right. Why would we want to identify as that generally? Okay. That's one of the questions that I'm asking. Now, you always say that nationality deals with a nation, all right? But if Moors are from Morocco, why don't Moroccans call themselves Moors? Like I just don't. And again, I'm not here to make fun. I'm really trying to get the true understanding of that. I have never heard a Moroccan call themselves a Moor or say we are Moors. I mean, the nationality is Moroccan. So if any Moors could explain that to me, I would appreciate that. And I'm being serious about that as well. Okay. So that is Moor as a noun, a North African Berber. Okay. So let us, and then we have Moor again as a noun, a tract of open land, untilled, more or less elevated ground, often overrun with heath. Okay. So we have that. And we also have mooring. Let us look at mooring. Okay. Mooring, action or process of making a ship secure in a particular place by means of anchors. Okay. So now that we have seen the definition of moor, let us see if we could find the definition here, if it comes up, of Blackmore. I'm not sure if it's on here, but let's see if it comes up. No, it's not coming up. It's pretty much a dark-skinned person. All right. Okay, here we go. Okay, a dark-skinned person, black-skinned African. Okay, so everything that deals with Moors deal with African and Europe, because back in Britain, okay, they used to call themselves Blackamoors as well. So I just wanted to point that out. Okay, now that's just the etymology of the word Moor and Blackamoor. Let me stop sharing my screen. Okay, because I want to also, bring this from a non-biased perspective, and let's hear it straight from a Moor or a Moorish perspective. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to this site. All right, it's called Fez Province Agency.org. Okay, we are going to share this. All right, and we are going to let a Moor tell you who a Moor is. Okay, in their own words. Okay, and they also have memberships for their organization. Okay, so let me go ahead and share that screen real quick. Here we are. Okay. Because it's documentation beats conversation. All right. Like I tell people, I don't want to get into no debates with nobody. All right. Let us look at the documentation, and that's what I'm talking about. So as you could see, that's a site that was created for Moors, okay, so that they could claim their nationality, okay? And that's cool. There's nothing wrong with that. Now, check this out. Remember when I told y'all what a free is, a free white person? Now, why are the Moors, why is that important to them? Okay, that's important to them because free white persons were also Moorish people. I'm going to repeat that. Free white persons in the United States were Moorish people. So once again, that is just solidifying again a fact that Moors are not aborigines of the America. Now, please do not make the statement that, well, once you have a dark skin complexion, you are Moor. We never called ourselves that. All right. But it's important. And I'm glad when I went to that site, that was one of the first things that came up, because a free white person, okay, free white person referred to the Naturalization Act as amended by July 14th, 1870, has meaning naturally given it when first used in First Stat 103 C period 3, comma, meaning all persons belonging to the European races then commonly counted as white and their descendants, okay? So once again, when we speak about Europeans coming here in 1492, it wasn't the pale European, okay? So I hope you see where all this once again is coming into 360, all right? So, and their descendants, including such descendants in other countries to which they have emigrated. It includes all European Jews, okay? More or less intermixed with peoples of the Celtics, Scandinavian, Teutonic, Iberian, Latin, Greek, and Slavic descent. All right. It includes Magyars, Lapps, and Finns, and the Ed and the Basque and Albanians. It includes the mixed Latin, Celtic, Iberian, and what? Moorish inhabitants of Spain and Portugal, the mixed Greek, Latin, Phoenicians. Now, once again, the Moors were in control of a certain part of Europe, okay, Spain, for 711 years. They lost their reign in 1492. When did these colonizers come into the Americas? In 1492. Okay? But I've done videos on that before. All I'm just saying is put 2 and 2 together. And like I said, it wasn't the pale man who came here in 1492. Okay? Let's keep that in mind. Now, also, who is a free white person? Like we said, the mixed Greek, Latin, Phoenician, and North African inhabitants of Sicily. So therefore, an individual could come from Africa, Portugal, all those places with dark skin, looking to the point where you might think they're black, but nobody's black. But to the point where to the eye, it may appear that they are black, and I promise you, they could come into the United States and be considered white. Okay? And they could be considered white. If you don't believe me, go look at the census. Okay? Let us proceed. And mixed Slav and Tatar inhabitants of South Russia. Okay? It does not mean Caucasian race. So the people that you're calling white, they are actually not white. The Aryan race, okay? No Indo-Europeans, they are not white. Okay? Nor the mixed Indo-European, Dravidian, the Semitic, and the Mongolian peoples who inhabit Persia, because that's where these natives that pretending to be us are from. They are from Europe, okay? A Syrian of Asiatic birth and descent will not be entitled to become a naturalized citizen of the United States as being a free white person, okay? And I'm glad that on this site, it is coming from a Moor and not just me, so that people could say, well, Chief, you don't know what you're talking about, or you're biased. But let us scroll down some more, because he's going to tell you from a Moor perspective who a Moor is, okay? So this is about the site claiming their nationality, and there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that, okay? Let's scroll down, okay? Now, here it is. He's telling you what a Moor is. Legal definition of a Moor. Okay, a Moor, an officer in the Isle of Man who summons the courts for several sheddings. The office is similar to the English bailiff of 100. Let's read that again. That is coming from a Moor, telling you what a Moor is, telling you what a free white person is. Okay, they are not Aborigines of America. Okay. They were settlers just like everybody else and colonizers just like everybody else. A Moor, an officer in the Isle of Man who summons the courts for the several sheddings. The office is similar to the English bailiff of 100. Now, which brings us to the next question. What is the Isle of Man? Well, let's go look that up, and then we'll come back to the site here real quick. Okay? Let us go to the Isle of Man real quick to see exactly what is the Isle of Man. And once again, those are not my words, okay? That's coming from a Moor, okay? Isle of Man. Here we are. Okay? Let this thing populate so it can share the screen. And here we go. The Isle of Man, Manin, also Elan Vanin, also known as Man or Man, is an island and self-governing what? British Crown dependency in the Irish Sea between Great Britain and Northern Ireland. The head of state, Queen Elizabeth II, holds the title of what? Lord of Man. So when you're claiming to be a Moor, okay, you're literally under the title based on what that more just said, a more is, okay, legally, you're under, okay, Queen Elizabeth II that holds the title of the Lord of Man and is represented by a lieutenant governor. The United Kingdom is responsible for the Isles' military defense. Humans have lived on the island since before 6500 BC. The Gaelic cultural influence began in the 5th century AD, and the Manx language, a branch of the Goidelic languages, emerged. In 627, King Edwin of Northumbria conquered the Isle of Man along with most of Mercia. In 9th century, Norsemen established the Thalassocratic kingdom of the Isles, which included the Isles of Man. Magnus III, king of Norway from 1093 to 1103, reigned as king of the Man and the Isles between 1099 and 1103. In 1266, the island became part of Scotland under the Treaty of Perth, after being ruled by Norway. After a period of altering rule by the kings of Scotland and England, and the island came under the feudal lordship of the English crown. In 1399, the lordship revisited the British crown in 1765, but the island did not become part of the 18th century kingdom of Great Britain, nor of its successors, the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Ireland, and the present-day United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland. It has always retained its internal self-government. Like I've told y'all in many videos before, okay? The Scots, the Irish, they are the Gaelic people, the original people, okay? As a matter of fact, the most recent, okay, Israelites are the original ones from Ireland, okay, and Scotland. And King James, the one who revisited the Bible that came into the Americas in the 1600s and brought his mama's Bible, okay, or his genealogy or his family tree, because that's what it is. He made himself the king of the Israelites. He was the first Jacobin, or the first Jacobite, and he changed his name to Israel, and he put that in their Bible. You feel me? So what am I saying? I'm saying, once again, the people who came here in 1492 and before, they were not the pale man, the people you call Caucasians or white people, okay? They were Moors, okay? They were Israelites. They were the Black Britons. They were the people that came here, okay? And like I told y'all before, when all that was taking place, eventually, with all the wars that was going on, people don't get it. The first set of wars wasn't with us and the pale man. No, the first set of wars was with these settlers or colonizers who looked just like us. I'm talking about for hundreds of years. The pale man came in later because the pale man were their servants and slaves in Europe. A lot of you in the Americas are thinking you're from Africa, but guess what? Even the people that's in those countries in Africa, most of them are not even from Africa. Okay, they migrated from Europe into Africa. So a lot of people don't know what they're talking about. Okay, and even when some of them came here, okay, in the 1600s, whatever the case may be, most of them did not come from Africa. Okay, they came from Britain, they came from Ireland, they came from Scotland. Hence, the verse in Deuteronomy 28, when the Israelites say that they came on slave ships for 400 years, guess what? They did not come on slave ships. They came here as indentured servants by their king, King James, who called himself a Jacobin or a Jacobite. You feel me? I just wanted to kind of piece everything together for you. So when they were fighting in the Americas, even before the pale man came in, okay, then eventually it was said that we got to stop, you know, mistreating or ill-treating the Indians. So they started bringing the pale people, okay, all the servants and the criminals and all the vagabonds, they started dumping them into this so-called new world and enslaving them. You feel me? But just couldn't deal with the hard work. So King James said, you know what? We are going to bring some of our people. That's when they brought in the Israelites. Okay? That's when they came in. You feel me? And then with so many, again, different wars, you had the Indians fighting the French. Okay? No, well, first it was the conquistadors, the Spaniards. Okay? Because a lot of them were actually dark Spanish people, or so-called black Spaniards. Okay? So it was the Spaniards, then the French, then the British. Our ancestors had to fight all these different groups of people, okay? At some point, having to take sides with others. So a lot of people try to wonder, well, Chief, how did all that happen? How did the pale man get to be on top eventually? I've broken it down so many times, but I'm going to give you a synopsis of that, okay? So when we were fighting the conquistadors, or the, you know, the other black nobles that came here, okay, remember at that time in 1492, the Moors in Spain, certain parts of Spain, had lost their reign. And a lot of them became subjects of Ferdinand and Queen Isabella. Some of them went back to Africa, okay? But a lot of them came here, okay, to help the crown. You feel me? So with all the fighting that happened, then treaties were made. Because the first set of treaties that our ancestors made, it wasn't with the pale man. The first set of treaties were with the Portuguese, okay? The Britons. That was the first set of treaties. And they were with people who looked just like us. They were the first ones who reneged on the treaties. You feel me? So with all the infighting, like I said, okay, I'm talking about later down, after King George came into the picture. King George, the one who created the colony of Georgia, what we now call Georgia, okay? Because Germany was part of Great Britain, all right? So he came back and said, nah, listen, man, this type of slavery y'all doing, this looks more like servitude. We ain't doing that. We are going to bring some real form of slavery. So he brought in the real version of that slavery, all right? And that lasted until the mid-1800s. Okay, but the point I'm making is this. Treaties were made. And like I told y'all before, it was supposed to be 3 standing powers. Okay, because with all the fighting, okay, it was a lot of, you know, cutthroating. What I mean by that, sometimes our ancestors didn't know what side to take. Sometimes we joined the French. Okay, sometimes we joined the British. Sometimes we, you know, look at what happened with Haiti. The same thing happened with Haiti. Haiti had to take a side. So Haiti fought with the French. That's why the pale man in the United States, they don't like Haitians. Because Haitians fought against them when they were fighting against the French. Because a lot of our ancestors had to take sides. And some of them just stood to the side. And they stayed neutral. You feel me? But then with all the killing, okay, they all came to the table and say, listen, let us create a truce. Let's create some treaties. Let's create some, you know, some covenants. The bottom line is this, okay? The United States will be for the pale man, okay? The Republic will be for the Moors, you know, the Israelites, the other so-called black people that came here when they met us here, okay? The Republic would be for them. And I'm talking about that's after the 13 colonies and all that, all right? The 13 colonies were set up by 5 so-called black nobles from Europe. That's proof. The pale man was nowhere in the picture with power. You feel me? Okay? Then the Iroquois Confederacy was for our ancestors, for us. All right? But this is what happened. The Republic, they came together, they and the pale man came together and said, now we are going to get rid of the Iroquois Confederacy. So another war broke out. That's how our ancestors, again, lost. You feel me? So now what was standing was the Republic and the United States. But the pale man went back and came back to the Iroquois Confederacy and said, listen, man, this is what these people did. I'm just paraphrasing. This is what they did, and they tricked you, okay? And this is what happened. So now help us fight them. And that's how the United States, the pale man, was able to be the last man standing. But the Republic is still dominant. That's why when you pledge allegiance to the flag, Okay, you have to pledge allegiance to what? The Republic and the United States. So let me ask you a question. If you are pledging allegiance to the Republic, where's the Republic at? It is dormant. It ain't got nothing to do with us. The Republic or the United States ain't got nothing to do with us Aborigines. Nothing whatsoever. All that stuff is foreign occupiers. Okay? So now you see what this Moor from his own mouth is telling you who a Moor is and what the Isle of Man is. Okay? It had nothing to do with the Americas. They're all settlers and they're all occupiers and they're all colonizers. It's really that simple. Okay? Let's go back to the site real quick so we could kind of finish that up, because like I said, I don't want to be on here that long, okay? 40 minutes tops for the most, because I may do another one, okay? So let us go back to the site. And that's a site, you know, for Moorish Americans, okay? So now that you see, he's telling you who a Moor is, okay? A legal definition of Moor, okay? That's the legal definition. We see the noun, okay? It's an African, okay? Now, when we scroll all the way down, and he's stressing, okay, free white person. He goes back to it again, and he says, includes all European Jews, more or less intermixed with peoples of Celtic, Scandinavian, Teutonic, Iberian, Latin, Greek, the Slavic descent. It includes the Magyars, the Lapps, the Finns, the Basque, and the Albanians. It includes the mixed Latin, Celtic, Iberian, and the Moorish inhabitants of Spain and Portugal. Those are the free white people. Once again, when did the Moors lose their reign in Spain? In 1492. Okay? And they became subjects of Ferdinand and Isabella in Portugal and certain parts of Spain. Okay? Now, once again, he is reiterating, he says in white, as broad as the definition seems, scholars must not overlook the last part of the section to make a clear distinction as to why free white persons is not the Indo-European most sleepy-headed Moors would call white people. So he's telling you, okay, once again, and here we go, reiterating it again. Free white persons does not mean Caucasian race, Aryan race, or Indo-European race, nor the mixed Indo-European, Dravidian, Semitic, and Mongolian people who inhabit Persia. So he's again reiterating that this should help to what? Dispel any confusion as to why studious Moors are able to claim the status of free white persons and comfortably argue right associated with such claims of lawful status upon any challenge. And guess what? I totally agree with him, because he's right. You see, and that's what I like. Okay, I like it when people speak the truth. You feel me? That's what I like. I like it when people speak the truth. Stop playing the games. You feel me? Stop playing the games. And stop confusing American Aborigines thinking that's who they are. You feel me? So I just wanted to kind of, again, do this video just to make that part 2, because I wanted to complete part 1. Although I went to all these different, resources, I was looking for something from a more perspective. You feel me? And I just didn't have it. And I came across this last week. Okay, so I said, okay, you know what? I'm going to do part 2 just to kind of complete, okay, what I started with part 1. All right. And once again, this has nothing to do with hating anybody. This has nothing to do with animosity. I just want to put the truth out there so that American Aborigines will not be confused as to who we are. Earlier, I dropped a video for you. I showed you again that, the transatlantic slave trade was exaggerated. Okay. That didn't happen in the magnitude that they told us it did. That's a complete lie. No millions of Africans came here. Okay. As a matter of fact, people were being sent to Africa. People from Europe was moving into Africa, okay? Because a lot of that landmass was dry land, period. Uncultivated soil. You feel me? Things wasn't growing in that soil. In a lot of, the portions of West Africa. So don't let anybody fool you with all this millions and millions of people. Like I said, what they were doing is they were taking the men that was already in the Americas and shifting them from place to place. That's what they were doing. You feel me? That's what they were doing. But because on the other side of the waters, they were already used to enslaving their own. Now, don't get me wrong. We had our own situations here in the Americas. So I'm not casting stones. All I'm just saying is they had their own beefs. You feel me? They had their own beefs. And once again, Brother Tariq Bey, I appreciate you, brother, and I'm glad you're here. It's not about division. It's about identity. You feel me? Because, yes, we are all, we are all going through the same oppression. I get that. But I just don't like the fact that our people are being lied to and trying to be confused. People are confusing them by telling them that's who they are when they are not. You feel me? Because there's an underlying agenda to step up and fight, the Moors battle against the pale man because of a grudge that they have, a long-standing grudge with both forefathers. That ain't got nothing to do with us. You feel me? So I'm glad you said that. We don't need to divide ourselves. I totally agree. But still, when it's all said and done, it's all about identity. Okay? We respect you as who you are, and you respect us as who we are. You know what? The past is the past. Let bygones be bygones. I get that. And that's fine. I'm totally cool with it. Moor is an ethnic, as a matter of fact, here you go. All right. I want to highlight what you are saying, and I totally agree. Moor is an ethnic term, and in nationality, it's yours, but it's not ours. You see what I'm saying? The only time I have problem is when Moors say that we are all Moors. That's the only time I have a problem with that. You see what I'm saying? And yes, some Mexicans were called Moors, not because they were here in the Americas, but they were some of the conquistadors that came here. You are absolutely correct. You see, as you could see, I'm agreeing with everything that you say, but we cannot make general statements because that is misleading. Okay? My people were here before 1492. My people were here from time immemorial. We did not call ourselves Moors. We didn't know who Moors were. Okay? Some of y'all we had never seen in our life, period. You feel me? Until y'all started coming here mixing with our people. So all of what you are saying, you are correct. Mexicans were called Moriscos or Moreno. It's still just another version or variation of saying a Moor. I get that. But the question is, who was there before they came? No, well, you see, Moor is an advantageous title for you, my brother. And I'm glad we understand each other. So because I want my people to know that I'm telling them the truth. And like I said, I like the fact that when Moors come and speak the truth, I like that. And you seem to be an outstanding Moor. You see what I'm saying? One with integrity, and that's what I appreciate. And yes, legally, Moor is more advantageous to a title for you, but not for us, because that's not who we are. We are American Aborigines. And that's the identity that we are going to call ourselves. You feel me? Now, we could be specific and go into our individual clans or tribes we call ourselves. Me, for instance, I'm Kalinago and Anion. You see what I'm saying? So that's my nationality because we have a nation, we have a flag. You feel me? So I totally get what you are saying, and I agree with you. It's legally, and Moor is more advantageous for Moors because that's them. Okay? Because by us calling ourselves a Moor, okay, then that means that we are making ourselves, immigrants in our own land. Okay? We are not trying to make ourselves exiled in our own land by taking the title of somebody else that don't belong to us, especially somebody else that came here to colonize us. And that's all I'm just saying. So I respect you, brother, and you're absolutely right. This is not about division, okay? And I'm glad you agree with that, okay? It's not about division. It's about speaking the truth once and for all. This is the age of Aquarius. We got to stop telling the lies, and we got to stop perpetrating, this perpetual lie or miseducation and trying to confuse our people. You see, because it's not right. You feel me? It's not right. And that's all I'm just saying. All right. Well, I mean, once again, brother, whatever your definition of of more is, that's fine. I'm just saying is that you could call yourself that because that's who you are. Okay. We are autochthonous. That's our version of saying we from the soil. Okay. So y'all have your version of saying that you're Moors, okay, from the soil. And that's fine. It is just not from the American soil. We are autochthonous to this soil. You feel me? And that's all I'm just saying. All right. So I appreciate you. Okay. So once again, all right, family, this is about education. All right. It's about education, and the games need to stop being played. All right. We could respect each other as who we are. We can. There's nothing wrong with that, because when it all boils down to everything, we have a common enemy, and it's not the pale man. It's a system. It's about the have and the have-nots. That's what it's about. Okay. But how are we going to come together with all the misleading information? How are we going to come together if there is no integrity, if there's no truth? How can we do that? We can't do that. You feel me? We have to come to the table and speak the truth. You know what? Yes. All right. Our forefathers did this. You know what? We apologize. Even some of my ancestors, they took part in slavery. And I have asked for forgiveness on their behalf, because it's the only way to move on is by speaking the truth. But if we're continuously lying and getting mad at each other, cursing each other out and getting outrageous, we shouldn't be doing that. Because when it's all said and done, again, the age of Aquarius, all that stuff doesn't even matter. But it's still being promoted. So that's why I'm making all the clarification. You see what I'm saying? And my brother, if you are autochthonous to this land, that's fine. But you cannot be an aborigine to this land and say that you're Moor. Or if that's something that you adopted, then that's fine. But Moors are not original of the Americas. That's all I'm just saying. You feel me? And you're absolutely correct. Because guess what? Moving forward, all right, moving forward, the world that we have to build is going to have all sorts of tribes. You feel me? And that's facts, okay? The new world that we are building and creating is going to be of all tribes, because that's the way it's supposed to be. That's the way it's supposed to be. I totally agree. You feel me? And once again, brother, just like how you have Washita Moors, they came and mixed in with the Washita. Maybe there were Moors that mixed in with the Lenape, just like Cherokee, right? Noble Drew Ali was Cherokee, but he had to mix in with a Cherokee to claim being indigenous. That's why he claimed Cherokee. You see what I'm saying? Because even the Cherokee Nation is made up. You feel me? So I'm not disputing what you're saying, Brother Tariq. I'm not disputing that. All I'm just saying is, it's like saying that you're Irish American. You feel me? You could be Moorish American because you are Moor, and then you came into the Americas. Okay, so that makes you Moorish American, a hyphen American. Only original Americans have the right to just be called Americans. So I'm not disputing anything that you are saying. You dig? And if Moor just simply means a dark-skinned person, I'm glad you said that. Then why would I want to be dark-skinned? Because all dark means is void of light. I am filled with light, brother. So I don't want to be called dark-skinned. So if all Moor means is a dark-skinned person, I don't want to be called dark-skinned or a Moor. You feel me? My complexion is brown, not dark-skinned, because all dark means is void of light. And I am filled with light. So anyhow you twist it and dice it, I am here to bring the light and the truth. You feel me? And I get it. You said that all I'm saying is our people have been going back and forth from the beginning of time. We are cousins at least. Oh, nah, you are my brother. We may be from two different continents, but you're my brother. You know what I mean? Because when we look at it from an earthly perspective, we are all family. I get that. So I'm not disputing that. And yes, we have been doing commerce for a very long time, even before 1492. I am certainly sure at some point, okay, some people got lost and say, hey, I didn't know you was over here. Okay, because there is proof of artifacts of different groups coming into the Americas before 1492. So I totally get it, my brother. I totally get it. As a matter of fact, maybe one day, you know, we could come and you could come be a part of the conversation and we could talk some more. You feel me? But I like the fact that you speaking the truth. That's what I'm saying. That's what I appreciate. You feel me? Because I've been in situations where Moors, literally, certain Moors threaten me. Oh, when I see you, son, it's on. Like, why it gotta be that though? When I'm telling the truth. You feel what I'm saying? So you're more than just my cousin, family. You know what I mean? You are my brother. You know, and that's why I tell people when we speak, when I bring the knowledge and I bring the message, it's not that I'm hitting on Africans. No, Africans are our brothers. They're our sisters. You see what I'm saying? But we still have to have our own identity as who we are. I am only who my ancestors were. And does it mean that you guys didn't come and mix in with us? Yes, you did. But guess what? I am who I am first. You feel me? It's like having a carrot cake, right? Carrot is the main ingredients. It doesn't matter if you put some milk in it. It doesn't matter if you put some butter in it. A carrot cake could never be a butter cake. You feel me? A carrot cake could never be a milk cake. So it doesn't matter who came here and mixed with us. We are American first. It's like the carrot being the carrot cake. That's the main ingredients because my ancestors have been on this landmass from time immemorial. And that's all I'm just saying. We all could get along if we just respect each other and get out of the colonization mentality. Nah, still got some beef with the pale man. No, so we got to make everybody Moors and fight the pale man. Now we ain't doing that because we've been down that road before. And that's not what this is about. You feel me? This is about everybody respecting each other. And you say you respect, and I respect you back respect you back. It's all reciprocal. You feel me? So I appreciate you. And like I said, maybe one day we could come on here and do a build. You feel me? And that would be beautiful. You did. All right. So I'm gonna, conclude this build. And like I said, that's why I tell people, man, I just so appreciate people that speak the truth. You feel me? I totally appreciate that. You did. And you, my brother, trust me. I'm telling you right now, you are my brother. You feel me? And what I mean by that is I could never see you in distress and not reach out my hand to you because you're a man of integrity. And that's what I call lineage. That's what I call family. It doesn't matter where you're from. You feel me? Now it says, do you allow, you ask, let me see. Do you allow people who have records to be in the tribe? Most of our people can't get specific on their lineage. I'm not sure exactly what you mean. This is what I would like you to do. Give me 1 second. Let me see. Give me 1 second, right? This is what I'm going to do, brother. I'm going to invite you to this build real quick. I really didn't want to go past 40 minutes, but because I'm not sure exactly what you're talking about. So I'm going to put this link, copy this link, and I'm just going to send it to you. In fact, I'm going to put it in the chat, and I want only you to come in because you're the only one I'll let in. So here you are. All right. I'm going to put that link in there just for you. I'm not going to let nobody else in, just you. So we could kind of like, because I want to tell you personally, like, I appreciate, I'm saying that you're honorable, you know what I mean? And that means a lot. So if you could just, come in, I just put that link in, for this build in the chat. If you could just click on that, I'll let you in, and then you could ask me the question that you wanted to ask because I'm not following you. Okay. So here we go. Let me add you in here. All right. And yes, you on, brother.
Peace, brother.
Hey, peace, brother. Peace. How you doing?
I'm doing good, man. How about yourself?
Man, I'm doing superb, man. I'm just here, man, just, sharing information, just teaching the people. But first things first, before we even get, started, I want to say that I appreciate you. You know what I mean? And, you know, for being a stand-up man. You see what I'm saying? Because that's what it's all about. It's about honor and respect and integrity. You
Yes,
feel me?
sir. Yes, sir.
And
It's likewise, brother.
I
It's
take my
about the
hat to you.
principles.
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt. Yes, indeed, indeed. So go ahead and ask me the question that you were asking because I wasn't too sure about. Yeah.
Yes, sir. So what I was my question was basically because for the ones of us who don't have good family records, it could tell you what tribe they come from exactly.
Mhm.
What do our people in that position do?
Okay. Sometimes if you reach into like you run into a brick road, like you have exhausted, I mean, literally all everything. Okay. Even
Mm-hmm.
today on our site, I put up two new portals where people could go look into the Chickasaw and the Choctaw records to see if they could pull up their families. I actually just added that to our site today. And I'm talking about
Okay.
thousands and thousands of names. Okay. So that's on the site as we speak. But
That's dope.
for people like that, brother, if you could just get, like I tell people, it's all about, we had a very rich oral history. And the truth of the matter is, even if you do claim being a Moor, I am certainly sure you have ancestors, okay, that you know, your people mixed with that makes you, you know, one of us. You
Oh,
see what
that's a fact. That's
exactly.
100% fact. And that's
So,
what I'm saying. We're the same people
yeah,
at this point. We're the same people in the same struggle.
right. And I
Uh,
totally agree. I totally agree.
you know, and here's the thing. It's a man's God-given right to
Mhm.
identify how he wants to identify.
That's facts.
You know, so
Mhm.
it would be foolish for me to get upset and try to tell you who you are.
Right.
What I'm my position is, and why I identify as more is, for one, it is, from my research, it is an absolute fact. We uh we descend from the Moroccan Empire. At least part of our bloodline was part of that empire. That was the whole Northwest Africa. And in the religious text of the Moorish Science Temple of America, it does say, you know, our people was from here too. So we don't draw that division, that line. Uh, that's why I was saying I'm just saying we're the same people. I don't divide my people. So if I refer to you as a Moor brother, I'm not trying to take your tribe from you or none of that. I'm not trying to take your birthright from you or none of that. What I'm saying is I see you as my brother, as the same people in the same struggle.
Yeah.
You know
And
what I'm saying?
mhm. And I'm totally, you know, fine with that in regards to, you know, us being brothers. You know what I'm saying? I'm totally cool with that. Like, it's, again, for me, it's all about
Because
energy.
exactly, and
Yeah.
and I'll say this because I know you're about to close it out, man, and I appreciate you for having me on, bro. Uh,
Yeah.
so a brother, Mansa Muhammad broke. He gave this real good example on how the more applies. He's, you know, it's basically, I'm from Kansas, right?
Okay.
Kansas City.
Hmm.
And if I travel throughout the United States, I'm a Kansan from Kansas City that's now here.
Hmm.
But if I travel to France, they're not gonna say, hey, there's the guy from Kansas City. They're gonna say, hey, that's the American.
Hmm.
Like, that'd be my international title, would be American. If I walk into a room on foreign soil, they're gonna be,
Hmm.
hey, there's the American.
Yep.
But back home, I'm from Kansas City. I'm you know, and if you know me from there, you'll say Wyandotte County to be more exact, and so on and so forth.
Hmm.
So what I'm saying,
Yeah, you're breaking up. I lost your audio.
can you hear me?
Yeah, yeah, I could hear you.
Okay, so in that example, the tribal identity is equivalent to me being from Kansas City. But soon as you step out of your land and go international, then when you walk into a room, the odds were, especially in the period of time where we failed and started running into these problems with these Europeans,
Mm.
you would have walked in the room and they would have said, "There's a more." So we're both right. You are your tribe, but we're just dealing with it on, and this is not to. We're just dealing with the same thing from different aspects. It's a it's an international. We need both. We need the each other. We need our autochthonous brothers here pushing that for on the soil, and we should be right in line with y'all, all pushing that together.
Mm.
And internationally, treaty wise, et cetera, the more identity also needs to be pushed, and we need to deal internationally under that.
Well, here's the thing.
In my opinion, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I'm not saying I got
yeah,
all the answers. That's
yeah.
my take on it.
And I totally respect your opinion, and part of what you said, I totally agree with. The latter, however, that's where I would have to draw the line, because no matter where I go, I'm an American. That is my international identity, because, okay, America wasn't given to me by any colonizer. America is literally came from South America. That name came from South America. That name was written in the constellation. So I'm an American by pedigree blood. So no matter where I go, that's what it is. You see what I'm saying? Wherever a more go internationally, that's a more. You see, but when I go, if somebody call me something that I'm not, I will correct them.
Oh, well, in the present day, absolutely. They're going to call me an American also. And that's what I want them to call me. And the same as you.
Yeah.
In my example I gave, I was saying in that era, in the 1492, around that, any time prior to 1492, that first 300-400, or even the 700 years prior, while that empire was thriving over there, if you from your tribe went to northern Spain over there and you saw them foreigners, or if they came anywhere, they would have referred to you as a Moor, not knowing your tribe.
But I would have corrected them, though. You see, that's the thing.
Yeah. No worries. No worries. But and that's the thing that I'm just saying.
It's the same thing like saying, it's the same thing like saying a black man, right? Don't matter where you go. Like, if you, like, take for instance, right? If you go to some place, like you said before, I'm going to use that example, right? Which is a perfect example. And it's a bunch of, carbonated men and women talking. People don't know where they're from. And for some reason, they got a little loud. Somebody might say, hey, look at these black people. You feel me? So again, it's the same thing as saying, using the word more as describing people with dark skin. But you see what I'm saying? What I'm saying is my skin is not dark, because I'm taking it a little deeper. My skin is brown. Dark means void of light. I am filled with light. So it doesn't matter where I go. I'm always going to correct people and let them know that's not who I am. This is who I am.
Another thing that more means also is Westerner. And from it's originally a Phoenician word that meant Westerner, and it don't get more West than us, brother.
But I mean, like I said, I get all that. I mean,
you know what I'm saying?
They could also say, hey, these Negroes from the West. The point is, it doesn't matter what people call us. We have to stand up and say, this is who we are. You see, because again, it's other people's ideology of who we are. And they are putting us in a box, and we just choose not to be in that box. That's you see what I'm saying? That's all I'm just saying. So I respect them more for being a more. That's cool. Whether it's here in the Americas or whether it's here overseas. You see what I'm saying? Because when it's all said and done, if I'm going anywhere and I see anybody messing with you in any type of way and we together, I'm gonna stand with you because I call you my brother. You see what I'm saying? But it still is, I'm gonna stand as who I am as an American Aboriginal, and if I have to get specific, I am Kalanago and Anianwea. You see what I'm saying?
Yes, sir. So, here's the thing: like, our biggest problem in this country is economics and our identity.
Yes.
One, and that's where we've always been a tribal people. We're never going. Of course, naturally, we're not going to argue. We're not going to all agree on our identity because we're mixed from tribes. So, you know, but one thing we can do is unite economically.
Yes.
There's no excuse for that.
You're absolutely correct.
If you have a product, my dollars is green. We should be able to make exchanges. You know, it don't like we've been doing for, in my opinion, millions of years since Pangea, brother. Our ancestors been on this soil since.
Well, I'm gonna even take you further back. Try Laurentia. Laurentia. Try Laurentia.
Okay.
Laurentia came before Pangea, and Laurentia started in the middle of North America, and it branched up into the world. So what am I saying? America populated the world. So when it's all said and done, everybody's still one of us.
Yeah, I'll look into that. I'll definitely look into that. I appreciate that.
No doubt. Laurentia.
For sure.
And I have that on the website as well. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure, man.
No doubt.
But,
so
hey, brother,
understanding, and you are absolutely correct about coming together doing economics, because we have to step up no matter what, you know what I'm saying, and come together so we could compete.
Our youth need jobs so they can get out these streets, man.
Yes, absolutely.
You know, don't get all the good that's come from the so-called conscious community and all that. I think in a way it's done just as much bad, because we're sitting here worried about the wrong things a lot of the times. Like, brother, who you debating about who each other praise to is a conversation for free men to have.
You're right. Absolutely correct.
That's for free people to sit back and talk about what they believe.
Right.
The facts are,
you're right.
We getting shot in the street. We got babies aborted. No unity. We don't spend our money with each other. We don't move together in politics or any meaningful aspect.
Yeah.
We only come together for ceremony and 5-minute feel-good moments. We'll go to a march. We'll tear down a statue, and we won't keep that alive and take that energy home and spend money with each other and help build our businesses back. They burnt them down back in the day. That's the thing. We should be pro-gun 2A and be armed and protect what you build. Build and protect what you build.
I totally agree. I totally agree.
Yeah, man.
One of the #1 laws of the universe is self-preservation.
Yep.
You know, so I totally agree, man. I totally agree. I mean, you've said a mouthful, so I really appreciate that. And to answer, you know, your question, that I didn't really get to, in terms of someone who really can't, they finding a roadblock, what I would do if I were them.
Just say you're more, since you can't figure it out. Just say you're more.
No. I mean, again, but remember, but you have to remember, right?
I'm half joking, half serious, man. Because that's
I know what you mean. I know what you mean. And guess what? It's okay, because guess what? It's okay for you to identify as who you are, because even Moors, had treaties with the United States. You see what I'm saying?
Yes, sir. So, exactly. Exactly.
So all I'm just saying is, whoever you are, use what you have to your advantage, because the Treaty of Peace and Friendship, that was between the Moors and the United States.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So that works out in y'all's benefit. You see what I'm saying? So if that's what you have to use for now, then use that until you could say, okay, you know what? I'm building with a certain group of people and they have their nation, whatever. Hey, you know what?
Yeah, man.
And then you get invited or whatever the case may be. But the point is, I say, you know what? Wherever you at, whoever you at, just like how you have a Scottish American, Italian American, they have laws that protect them. Use what you have to protect you. And to me, that's the best advice I could give.
Agreed. Man, I know you want to get off, but I'm begging to ask. I'm dying to ask you the question.
Go ahead, bro.
Since you brought up the treaties, it seemed from my research, and mind you, I ain't put in years into studying the treaties of so-called Native Americans with the Europeans, right? But from my research, I've looked at in United States law and the treaties were very disadvantaged. It seems like the Europeans pretty much penned the treaties and
Mm.
muscled them into signing it. And it didn't. It honestly just it didn't seem like, you know, there wasn't too many good treaties that you could stand on as.
Mhm.
But that's and yeah, I just didn't come across really any you know strong treaties that like the Moors had in place where it demanded, you know, you couldn't be enslaved, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah. Well, if I may, and I don't mind
Mm-hmm.
shedding some light on that for you, right? Um, First things first, right? Um, when we speak of Europeans, all right, we have to be very specific because there were the Europeans, which was some of them were your ancestors that came here, okay, before the Pale people, okay. So that's number one, all right. So we have to be very mindful when we say Europeans because I tell people we giving too much credit to the Pale Man. The Pale Man just came and picked up the pieces, all right.
Agreed.
Everything that
Agreed.
the Pale Man got is because he wrote somebody's back. Even when the wars was taking place, when they were trying to free themselves from their black kings, we helped out in the Americas. You feel me? So the point I'm making is we have to differentiate between when we say Europeans, exactly what we mean. That's number one. Number two, remember the first set of treaties that was signed, okay, it was all commercial and it was signed between the first set of Europeans, which is some of your ancestors, all right? That was the first set of treaties. But remember, what happened to us right now is like we got taken out of place. So it's not that the
Mm-hmm.
treaties were unilateral. The treaties were not unilateral. The treaties were on point. However, because we had to be taken out of place, treaties were ratified. You see what I'm saying? Treaties were ratified, and constantly while that was happening, they were making the transition of lightening or whitening the American, so-called American Indian into these natives. So by the time
Yeah.
these natives fully they came into full swing, you start seeing them in the movies. Guess what? A whole new set of treaties were formed with the natives. So therefore, the original treaties that was done with. So you see, so it's more than just what happened to us that meets the eye. A lot of people are trying to figure out how did all that happen. That's how it happened.
Yeah, man. I give it to him. I give it to the pale scared Europeans.
Yeah, I
Like
tell people, you know, I don't hate the player.
you
That was just
you you
the game.
you gotta be cold. I would never think to say I'm at war with these people. So let me first make them forget there's a war, and then make them forget where their home is. Like that is
But
it's incredible.
but here it is, brother. Remember, once again, right? Um, all of that happened, right, before the Pale Man came into play. The Pale Man just picked it up. And remember where the Pale Man came from. The Pale Man came from being subjects and servants and slaves of these black nobles. So you see what I'm saying? So it's more than just meet the eye. The Pale Man is not that the Pale Man don't want to relinquish his power. It's just that he can't because he's afraid. It's because of fear. What if I let go and allow these so-called black people to do their thing? Are they going to do what they did to us in the past?
Yeah, it's human nature. It's human nature.
You see what I'm
Of
saying?
course, you want your tribe to be on top. No one's going to give
Exactly.
up
There
their
you
power.
go.
That's human
There you
nature. We would do and should be doing the same thing,
Yeah.
but just be more ethical about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
Exactly. You see what I'm saying? So that's why I
yeah,
say
word.
we all got to come to the table. All right. And
Exactly.
really,
That's
really,
where I'm
really.
at with it.
There you go. Exactly. And that's what
That's
I'm
where I'm
talking
at
about.
with it.
You know?
Economics, brother. If
Yeah.
we like you said, we'll go back and forth all night about more or
Yeah.
talk to me, more is saying to talk to this and all, but we go back and forth all day. But at the end of the day, we know like economics is something that's simple math, brother.
Yeah.
If we math is math.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. I
that's
totally
what we
get
need
it.
to unite on across the board is
Yep.
economics and uniting our vote. If people still operate in that capacity and take part in the voting system,
Mhm.
we need to unite and block vote and leverage our vote.
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know. And
I mean, yeah,
yeah, man.
I totally get it, man. And I know by some sage, you're correct to a certain extent. The destination, okay, was the Americas, because America, became what's called the promised land. You know what I mean? But brother, yeah, man, I really appreciate you coming on. And like I said, I like the integrity, you know what I mean? And I'm personally gonna be bringing a lot of major opportunities, because that's what it's about. It's about coming together and building so we could compete in this digital age that's literally about
Yeah,
to
man.
take off right now. You know what I mean? So
Yep.
I thank you for that, and thank you for
Hey,
being.
honors, brother.
All right, no doubt, man. So if there's anything you want to say in closing, I'd appreciate that.
Just honors to you, bro. I've been subscribed to you for a minute. I'll continue to support. Hopefully we get to build again in the future. And nationality, economics is a order of the day.
All right.
Peace and love.
All right, peace and love, brother. Sounds good to me. All right.
Yeah.
All right. Yes. So once again, man, like I said, man, I respect that. You know what I mean? So much respect to brother Tariq Bey, man. Thank you for being a part of the build, and the integrity to me is just, A1. You know what I mean? That's what I like. When we come to the table and we speak the truth and we're able to let go, because it's the only way to start the healing process. You feel me? Is to come and speak the truth and let all the hurt go. You see what I'm saying? Let the hurt go. The backbiting, whatever they call it, you know what I mean? Where, people literally, just turn their back on each other. We got to let all that go. You know what I mean? Because that was in the past. But we need to confront the past, let it out, talk about it on a huge scale, all right, and let it go. And then decide how we're going to move forward. And everybody have to come to the table for that to happen. You know what I mean? So it's a beautiful thing. All right. So once again, I want to thank y'all for being a part of this build. I am going to do another build after this. Okay. Probably, you know me, I'm always saying, well, I'm not going to be on for 45 minutes or an hour. Look, we're over an hour, but it was worth it. You know what I mean? Like I literally came on, okay, to be on just for about half an hour. But, the brother came on. So, I felt his good spirit. So I wanted him to be a part of the build. You know what I mean? So it was definitely time well spent. So I'm going to do a quick little video next about something that's actually in the works, that's happening in Florida. And we got to keep an eye. And there's always a reason for everything. You know what I'm saying? So we're going to talk about that next. Don't forget, on 12/12, we haven't decided the time yet. I'm going to be talking to a sister, and we're going to be talking about, the hurt, the pain, the trauma. We're going to talk about mental disease, because a lot of our people see that as the norm. They don't even know that they have mental disease. So we're going to start addressing that. And like I said before, for those of you that would like to be a part of the build, definitely send me an email, send me a message. And so you could be a guest on one of those shows, because we have to get to being wholesome. We have to deal with it from a holistic perspective, and not all these pills and all this, these drugs that these people are giving our people, calling them crazy. You know what I mean? So, we taking it to the next level. So once again, I want to thank you, and I will see you in a couple of minutes. Appreciate that.